Okay, camera 2's on, and camera 3 is on. Okay, now what we have is an old stock wheel that sat around for decades, and somebody, without greasing it, put it on the bike and went down the road. So you have end play on this, and there's a gasket here, which we have a original gasket here off the 40, which I'm going to put on this machine here, because I'm rebuilding this hub first, so I'm going to use the good gasket there. The gasket on the 38 had eaten up, and your end play on your thrust has everything to do with the thickness of this gasket. So when this gasket goes away from age, then all of a sudden your thrust is off. So it created wear. This here is the original small end bearing of the 38, and the bearings have actually chewed into it. So this is no good. We have two good used ones here. Pulled out of his stash. And the main thrust bearing has a little bit wear from this thrust problem, but it's usable. Now what we have here, this is the original main thrust washer there, and it's got wear. You see the wear here, and this is the original thrust washer here, and it's got wear here. That's no good. Don't use it. They do remake these. Now I said, I've been told that these early hubs are different. This is the late style with more grease here. I got that out of my stash. That's the late style. It's an original one. It's used. It's still in usable shape. We have no feeling of wear. It has marks. There's no ridges. Follow me? This is the original one here. It has ridges. I can feel my fingernail. And see, it has no grease holes. Packing. So this is the first one that they used here. These early hubs. So that's your difference. And the second difference is this. Here's your internals. And the right one, on my right side, as I'm facing this camera here, that is out of the 40. And the left one is out of 38. You have a height difference. This height difference here is for a end spacer. So when you have a thrust problem, your end spacer eats up, not your internal hub. As long as everything is greased and thrusted properly, it's just fine. So you can see the wear difference on the 40. With my guess right now is the machine has somewhere between 20 to 35,000. Excuse me, guys. And this one here, on our new old stock hub, look how clean that is. Wow. That's all I can tell you. This hub, this new old stock, it's got no wear. So, what you got to do is we have an explosion here off the panhead with the same basic concept. I'll borrow this and show you. Right here gives me my sequence. So, boys, break your book out. I can do it by memory, but it's just a good idea to have a book in front of you, even if you do it by memory. If you forget, you have a brain fart, the book's right there. Just no problem. No questions, no problem. Real simple. So, first thing you got to do is everything goes in from the big side like this here. Boom. You got to put grease in here. Your cages go in. This goes in against it. You flip it over. You put your lock washers on. And we're going to show you right now. you have your grease, you play the grease, get it everywhere where you don't want it to go. Hopefully somewhere where you do want it to go. It's important to pack, you're packing the inside of the hub. This is stepped down in the center for a reason. This is your grease pack. There's space in the hub, there's space on your spindle here to pack that up. So you pack that first, put your wheel down. Back all that there, just lightly on this side. Lightly again on this side. At this point in time, you don't need any grease on the inside. That's when you put the axle on. We'll get to that later. Right now, grease on the inside is irrelevant. So that's on the inside of the spindle, for those who weren't following that. Doing on the inside of the hub, on the outside of the spindle. What we have is an evenish coating of that little indent. You can see it. Now we go back to our big bearing surface here, and we pack it. Before we put the bearings in, we pack it. You gotta have this all nice and greasy. You don't want any bearing surface that doesn't have a coating of grease on it. Not in any way, shape, or form. Not against the cage, not against the wheel, not against anything. It's got to have grease everywhere. So you pack it. It's going to have extra grease. That's okay if it's wiped off. So you got to make sure everything's coated with fresh grease. There's lots of good axle grease. You can use marine grease if you're worried about getting water in it. You're going to ride in the rain. It's excellent grease. Keeps the water out. Don't ride in the rain. So on my Harley Davidsons, I don't use marine grease like I do on my axles on the trailers. Okay, we have our clean bearings over here. Now I wipe the bearings off. None of these cameras can pick it up or not. They're over on this side. So I don't think I'm in the camera lane, so I'll pull these back over here. Hopefully that's still in there. Now again, we mic them. We know they're all the same size. We know the standard size. Nice and packed. Now, after I pack this is why you want to cross-reference your book. It shows you where your spacers go. And just so there's no doubt in your mind, you put the spacer on the right side. It's got to go on the right side of the bearing cage. Little spacers. So this is an early spindle, so it doesn't take a spacer on the small bearing cage, but it certainly takes one on the big bearing cage, and you want to, without doubt, have it on the right side. Everything's clean. I can put the grease back in. You don't have to. This is what I do, and this is my way. So I don't consider reusing grease when I put it on a clean surface. If it ain't that clean, you shouldn't be putting it inside your wheel. And follow? So, we got this here, that there. Send this off. Got plenty of grease on my wheel. I don't want to give you more, so I'm going to wipe the fingers off. There we go. Now, take our wheel up. We put our bearing cage in first, carefully. We take our big spacer here, put a little grease on it, and everything gets coated. So if you don't coat it, you're asking for problems. Don't create star hub problems. This is as simple as it gets. Don't be an idiot. Always have grease on everything. Don't assume there's enough grease here or there. Extra grease you can wipe right on. Okay? Your spacer's in. Now, you take your sleeve and you pop your sleeve in. Sometimes I like popping. This is a really tight sleeve. It has no wear. So it's going to fit really, really tight. This is a new old stock hub. This is as good as it gets. You better, it's never going to have any mileage. I really, I'm like, oh my God, this is so wow. So, we're going to take this here, pop that there, like a hand off. This extra grease off before we really mess. Now, if you over grease this, you go down the road, it's going to go zing, 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 zing everywhere. But it's better to have a couple of zingies of extra grease than it is a non-greased hub. That's what rags are for. Not the end of the world. This is how we get rid of the extra grease. If you don't get rid of the extra grease on this side, you're not going to get your torque in. You're not going to get your snap rings in. And you're going to create a problem. Okay? So that's that. Off that there. Two snap rings here on this side. I'm going to set this down here. And we're going to go get a snap ring plier, which I have already. And we'll be right back. Okay, we got our snap ring pliers. That's what screwdrivers are for. Come on. That's why I brought my little tool over, called an Allen wrench. Sometimes these little pliers like to readjust themselves. All of a sudden they become unusable. Pull this out a little bit. Retighten it. With different tips. All the ones I've personally had that have a single tip, they just don't catch. God knows, it just don't work. You can't do that. You work what works for you. You make sure they're perfectly evenly set. Close as possible. There's no like pulling the snap off. Let's try this again. There we go. It has to go in the slot. Make sure it goes in the slot, or the whole thing falls apart as you write. It's so important. I can't even begin to tell you. It's called a snap ring for a reason. So, if this comes apart on you, I am hereby calling you an idiot. You should never do that. Now, this little part is stupidly important. We want grease on the inside, we don't want grease on the outside. We want it to seal. So you gotta take a little rag and wipe off your excess. How this is supposed to work is your center hub doesn't move. The wheel spins around it and the bearings spin around the hub, and the center hub piece ain't supposed to move anywhere, or it grinds up your axle. It's not supposed to spin over the axle, guys. Make sure you get all your excess grease away. It doesn't mean use solid. Rag is plenty. Let's see, bare metal in there. No grease on it. Now, what we get to do is put this cork in. Now these corks are not Harley Davidson corks. They never fit right. You have to stuff them in place. Take the screwdriver, and tack it. Use your screwdriver tip and go around it. And you're going to peel off some cork when you're done, but you shouldn't crack the thing in half. You just got to be careful. Crack it in half. Buy yourself another cork kit. Do it again. So hopefully I'll get this in place without cracking it, because my other cork kits are buried somewhere and I got to find them.
patience, time, take care. Had to pull them off and just piece off a little bit of the cork sometimes. Takes a little pressure, a lot of patience, work it in. That's what it takes. Off a little bit of excess cork. I'm sure the Harley ones are made so well that that didn't happen. Fresh out of an old stock Harley is some good corks. Never had any. Press it down so hard you go through the cork, destroy it. If it's busted all the way through in the center, you get a new cork. Again, it's a snap ring, so you got to see that edge of the snap ring all around the edge of your hub. Notice I was using the screwdriver as sort of a knife. Will get rid of any excess cork. Always has some. Take our other snap ring here. And snap ring pliers. Okay. As you heard, it snapped in place. Okay, that's one side. Now we've got the important side, which is here. Okay. So, I'm gonna put this down. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. The whole part of having all these cameras. Now these shims here are from the 38. I've got some other shims from the 40. The shim's the shim pretty much. They have different sizes. The concept is there's a shim right here on the end player, which I'm going to show you guys how to do. So I'm just going to make a little space here for all of this stuff. Here, gasket. These here, yeah, that's our old worn one, so that's good. That over there. Actually, we've got these two big ones here. There's screws right there, and the washers there. Here. And make us a little room. That there. A lot easier. I can set the wheel on the table. So, yeah. These early gaskets, real gaskets, seal very easily with grease. If it isn't torn, and you use them. This is the real Harley Davidson gasket. That goes the same on your transmission. And guess what? On most of your motor, you can use your gaskets to supply with grease for an extended period of time. Put a seal on it, that is going to happen. done it many, many times. No problems. No oil leaks. No puking oil modems. No drainage. It's magic. So, got a gasket in place. For the least amount of wear, one of these. Got it. Now again, we use the original spindle, the internal part of the hub, and because it's an early one, it doesn't take the spacer. So the later one takes the spacer back here on the back. I know that because the book's right there. Bearings. In. There's nowhere. Just that marks good from having to run. This is exactly 2.5 out of the stock. So, now, the black spoke issue. How's it got black spokes? Well, the reality is, you can get what you ordered. And this rim and the spokes are cab plated. Got the same paint on the hub as on the rim and on the spokes. So somebody grabbed a CAD wheel and threw a coat of black paint on it. Possibly together, possibly not. Doesn't appear to have too many marks on truing it, so I would say together. Harley was known for doing that. First time. Here's the magic. How do you, this is sticking up. This is sticking up. This can't be going like this. So that's what your end play is. We're going to take our late greasable one. That's good. Grease it up. Take the little shims here. Oh, I did forget a spacer, so we'll get back to that in a minute. That's why you have your book and you have everything laid out. So that's okay. No such thing as fucking up as long as you fix your fuck up. So, we'll get back to that in a minute. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, with this here, one on there. This goes here. Now we need a good one of these, which I have somewhere. I'm going to borrow the good one out of the 40. Grease it up. Okay. It doesn't really matter where these pointy things go, because we're going to line up like magic on here. What we've got to have is enough spacers so that when this tightens up, it's not pressing that down. It has no end play. That's what these shims are for. You want a little light grease on the shim, and you press it down, and you get rid of your extra grease. What happens, your extra greases go over the edge. These are those shims that it came with. Before I add any more shims, I want to see if the Harley shimmy was correct and it's just a gasket issue that caused it. So we've got all of that in place. Take this here, put this on, down there. Feel it. just barely touch the inside of this gasket. Because these here actually, it's like a spring, they kind of stick up a little bit. Just spin it and have it touching on that gasket. Now how I know it's touching because I can spin it with the gasket a little bit. So it feels pretty tight. And you're shimming up your end play. You don't want it bouncing. And you don't want it to where there's space in here. This end can't have space, there can't be gaps between that. So you have to just pay attention to what you're doing. So that all feels good. And here's our cork. Looking for it, and I busted it. Oh. Busted cork, can't use it. So what I have is the original cork. And you're like, what is he doing? Well, it wasn't spewing gas and oil and crap all over my wheel when I was riding it. You know, it's old grease. And it ain't cracked. So I'm going to reuse it. Because I can. Modern crap is just that. I'd rather reuse a good 70-year-old cork that's had grease on it all this time than a modern piece of shit. Not that a real Harley Davidson cork from 1940 would be a lot better, but I just don't have one. If I had one, it'd be all dry because it would have been in grease for 7 odd years. So put our original cover on. Okay. Got our little screwies here. Put all that up. Okay, so if you notice, I got kind of grease everywhere. I'm going to take one of these cameras and show you. I'll try button it up. My grease everywhere issue. I've never managed to put together a star hub that doesn't have grease showing up. And it's got grease inside of it. Bringing that up in the video I'm going to make later, which I'll explain when I get around to making the video. I suspect something is missed in a couple of wheels, which I hate to have done. We're going to find out because I suspect it's real. I got grease all around the outside, all on the edges of the spokes. Grease everywhere. I'm going to grab this little camera right here and get you a close-up. So you can see the edges of the grease everywhere on the edges. You don't have to wipe it down.
In other words, you control the toe when the star hub has grease in it. So we're just going to double check our little screwies here. Take the star hub washer, stock. Yep, see what's on the loose one. Always double check. Go around a couple times. Check it. Okay, we found another loose one. It takes about 3 times around. We got it loose again. Got it loose. Takes a good 3 times around to make sure they're all tight. Or they will spin out on you. You go down the road and then go to your end cap. You just destroyed a very expensive wheel for being stupid. If you're not certain, go around again. Make sure they're tight. Now we're going to flip this over, and I'll show you my little fuck up. Which I tend to forget this washer all the time. So, it's a dust washer. All it is, pops right there. Needs to be there. Don't leave it out. Do what I did, put it back in. Not a big deal. Don't ride your bike without it. Come on. In the hole. That's what screwdrivers are for. Okay. It has to snap. If it didn't snap, it ain't happy. Bring our little camera over here again so you can see it. So it's like snap, crackle, pop. You know, the breakfast cereal. You have a good day. So you can see the snap ring. You see it's open here. It's snapped in place. So that is how you properly rebuild a star hub. Any star hub. Step hub, late hub, star hub, that's how you do it. So we're going to go over this again when we do the 40 on all the wheels, because again we're making a video on everything we're doing on the 40. And we'll go over it again when we do the front hub. You can see that. It's a dual stock wheel, and we're going to pull it apart and go, wow! Or not. We'll see you guys in the next videos. There's 3. We're going to make part 1, 2, and 3 of this. Shut this thing off here. Shut this one off here.